If you're obsessed with healthy living but find it daunting because of all the rules that come with it, we've got some great news for you. A well-renowned dietitian has come forward and spilled the beans on some of the rumors that are being circulated out there. Without further ado, let's look at the surprising new insights on fueling for endurance sports. So, without further ado, let's dive right into it. Starting with the veggie craze. In the last 10 years, one of the most discussed topics in sports nutrition has been balancing one's caloric intake with one's energy expenditure. Jennifer Saigo recently worked on the athlete's plate, a concept created by the University of Colorado Springs in collaboration with the United States Olympic Committee to help athletes visualize what they should eat during light, moderate, and hard training. These are the three individual panels. Vegetables and fruit make up 50% of the basic training plate. Vegetables make up less than a fourth of the hard training plate. No one is suggesting that vegetables are inherently evil. Instead, they are crucial to our survival. When training intensely, however, your caloric demands skyrocket beyond what can be met by a diet consisting only or mostly of vegetables. Since they are so rich in fiber, they are also extremely full and inconvenient to consume, and they don't contain nearly enough calories. Vegetables can have a high calorie count. It's okay to have a high fiber diet sometimes, but doing so often might cause problems. When you eat more than your stomach can comfortably process, you may feel unpleasant symptoms, including bloating, gas, and constipation. As a result, you may not get enough of certain nutrients. Your body can't absorb the nutrients from the food you consume if your stomach is too busy digesting the plants you're consuming. Consequently, a lack. Consuming excessive veggies may reduce the nutritional value of the meal you are eating, not to mention a famous misconception. A trap that many health-conscious endurance racers fall into is the huge lettuce, as Saigo put it. You may believe your stomach is telling you that you have ingested a massive meal, but the actual caloric content may be far lower. We now know that the unintentional underfueling may have serious consequences, so paying attention to caloric density is important. Options include grains and fats, as well as finer adjustments. The soft training plate, for instance, consists entirely of fresh fruit, whereas the moderate and hard plates also include stewed and dried fruits in varying proportions. Next, incorporate more carbs. Yep, every athlete out there must be stunned right now, but it is what it is. The dietitian has come forward with proof and logic to explain why cutting carbs out of your diet can seriously harm your athletic career. While she noted that ultramarathoners could also choose from various trade-offs, she did mention the data showing that low-carb ketogenic diets do not boost performance in Olympic distance endurance races like the marathon. She said that elite marathon runners rely on carbs for around 85% of their energy throughout the race, with the majority coming from glycogen stored in the muscles and the rest from glucose in the blood. In addition, scientists think that carbohydrates encourage the brain to produce serotonin, a neurotransmitter that makes you feel happy. People who followed a very low carbohydrate diet for a year, which allowed only 20 to 40 grams of carbs daily, roughly the amount of just a half cup of rice plus one piece of bread, experienced more depression, anxiety, and anger than those assigned to a low-fat, high-carb diet that focused on low-fat dairy, whole grains, fruit, and beans. Not to forget, you might even get fitter with more carbs. Plus, it might assist with your fitness goals. Research published in the Journal of Nutrition suggests that replacing refined grains with whole grains may help decrease total body fat and belly fat. People who consume 3 or more servings of whole grains daily have lower levels of overall body fat, 2.4% lower, and abdominal fat, 3.6% lower, than those who consumed less than a quarter of a serving per day. Carbohydrates are integral to a balanced diet and should not be avoided. Despite their negative reputation in certain popular diets, there are many good reasons to include them in your diet. There's no need to cut out carbohydrates if you want to be healthy, since adding foods you love and having variety are crucial to maintaining a diet for the long haul. Let's talk about the consumption plan she suggested. The day before a 10K, the expert recommended eating 7 to 12 grams of carbohydrates per kilogram of body weight to ensure enough glycogen stores. Consume between 1 to 4 grams per kilogram between 1 to 4 hours before the race. For someone weighing 155 pounds, it equates to anything from 70 grams of carbohydrate to 280 grams of carbohydrates, a rather large range representing the difference in how well individuals can tolerate a meal before exercise. To give you an idea, if you have a third cup of oats, berries, and fruit juice for breakfast, you'll have consumed consumed 100 grams of carbohydrates. Moving on, she focused on higher iron consumption. Hemoglobin is a protein responsible for transporting oxygen throughout the body, and its optimal function depends on the mineral iron. Many other crucial physiological functions rely on iron as well. Iron deficiency, anemia, is one of the several potential life-threatening conditions associated with low iron levels in the blood. Around 10 million Americans have low iron levels, and around 5 million have been diagnosed with iron deficiency anemia. When compared to sedentary people, athletes are more likely to suffer from iron deficiency, particularly young female athletes. Among female endurance athletes, long-distance runners stand out as a population where this phenomenon is more pronounced. The current RDA for iron is 8 milligrams, although some experts recommend that female endurance athletes increase their iron consumption to 10 milligrams per day. If an athlete is iron deficient, their performance will suffer and their immune system will be less effective. Lack of hemoglobin reduces the body's capacity to transfer oxygen to the muscles, which may significantly impact performance under stress. Following up, Saigo's tips. Endurance athletes often talk about the dangers of iron deficiency. What limits to avoid and how to raise your levels have already been discussed by experts. Saigo's goals are comparable or even a bit higher. Goal ferritin values of 30 micrograms per liter in women and 50 micrograms per liter in males are recommended. She recommends that both sexes strive for hemoglobin levels of at least 130 grams per liter. Even though women often have lower and perhaps suboptimal hemoglobin levels than males, the conventional minimal threshold for hemoglobin in healthy women is slightly lower. Finally, here are some deets on getting rid of dead weight. Now, you may not like to hear this, but the truth hurts, and we're here to tell you that you have 2 pounds of poop in your colon, and clearing it may offer you a little advantage in future competition. Yikes! Temporarily switching to a diet low in residue or the fiber bacteria and water that remains in the digestive tract after the good stuff has been absorbed is a common strategy among athletes in weight-sensitive sports. If you want to see results, you'll need to reduce your fiber intake for a few days drastically. Whole grains, fruits, and vegetables are great examples of fibrous meals that are nutritious and help you feel full longer, but they also have the potential to induce the need to use the restroom. Instead of eating high-fiber foods like cereal just before a run or on a race day, choose low-fiber foods like oats and bananas. This strategy was tested early this year by researchers at Liverpool John Moores University in the United Kingdom. For 4 days, they had 19 participants consume the same number of calories and macronutrient breakdowns each meal while reducing their fiber intake from 30 grams per day to fewer than 10. The average weight loss was 1.3 pounds, most of which was probably stool. The second effect was that bowel motions were tougher and that there were half as many of them, although 18 out of the 19 participants expressed interest in participating again. Finally, some changes. A low-residue diet was developed with the express purpose of reducing the digestive system's workload. Regarding meal times, the diet may be changed to fit your needs, but you can expect changes in both the types of food and the quantities of food consumed. On a low-residue diet, you'll have to cut down significantly on fiber. The Institute of Medicine recommends 25 grams of fiber per day for adults on a 2,000-calorie diet. A low-residue diet's recommended daily fiber intake is just 10 to 15 grams. Despite the restrictions of a low-residue diet, it is still easy to get all the nutrients you need by eating a wide range of foods. Everyone is different, so it takes a lot of trial and error to figure out what works best for you when it comes to sports nutrition. Finding your optimal strategies will require trial and error, so it's important to practice using all the tools at your disposal before a big game. That's a wrap for this video. So, what did you think of the tips? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you at the next one.